Welcome back to the Dividend Diplomats YouTube channel. You got your boys here, Laney and Bert, the Dividend Diplomats. We have a simple question we're going to be answering here today. Laney, should I be buying this dividend ETF instead of SCHD?
Oh no, not another ETF instead of SCHD, guys. Smash that subscribe button. Give us a nice thumbs up. Apologize, guys. I'm feeling a little under the weather. So if my voice does not sound normal, it's because it's not. Drinking as
Yeah,
much tea as I can. Maybe there's a little SCHD in this tea to help get me through this video.
yeah, it's fall. You know what that means? It's sick season. Young kids running around. Everybody's getting sick all the time. So we appreciate you jumping on here, joining us, Laney.
Oh,
Hopefully this video won't make you shout and scream too much. But it is
just
exciting.
mad. I wonder if it's because I didn't get the flu shot. Did you get the flu shot this year?
No, I haven't gotten the flu shot. My wife keeps nagging me to do it, but I keep forgetting to get it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's because of that, but guys, let us know in the comments. Did you get your flu shot this year? Let us
Yeah,
know.
it's because you're Italian. I think that's really what it is. You're stubborn and you're Italian. That's why you're sick.
But Bert, you have another
Yes.
ETF, dividend focused ETF, I'm assuming, and you're going to compare it here to SCHD
Hmm.
to see if there's another or a better ETF than SCHD. And don't worry, we're not talking about Vanguard's high dividend yield ETF, UIM today.
No, and we've talked about this one on our channel before, but it's good to refresh ourselves, see every six months or so, see how it's stacking up here. We are going to be talking iShares, Lanny. We're going iShares Core Dividend Growth ETF, ticker symbol DGRO. Look, everybody, we know there are a million ETFs out there. There are a lot of dividend focused ETFs. You can slice them, you can dice them, all shapes and sizes. DGRO, though, you get a little less yield than SCHD. Their yield is 2.16%. Compare that to SCHD yield of 3.41%. So, in my mind, if I'm going to replace SCHD with one that has slightly lower, Lanny, it better kick some butt in terms of dividend growth, holdings, top 10, and overall performance because you're giving up some yield for some expected growth. That's what I'm hoping to achieve by and see by the end of this video.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the DGRO, there's a lot of differences between the two funds here. Different dividend growths that they've seen as well over the last, 3, 5+ years. The top 10, not too many similarities, but there are a few. Again, trying to track with DGRO the investment results of an income composed of U.S. equities with a history of growing dividends. So emphasis really on the growing dividends. Again, grow. Dividends grow. Just think of growth when it comes to this dividend ETF, at least the main point here. Now, Bert, do you want to cover the top 10 of
Sure.
DGRO?
Yeah, let's cover the top 10 because it's interesting. It's going to be a much lower allocation. DGRO has a lot more holdings. It has 417 holdings to SCHD's 104. So you're going to see lower percentages because there are just more holdings to be spread around for DGRO. Looking at that top 10, though, Annie, you see some excellent names in there. We're just going to read down the list and we'll react after, Lanny. ExxonMobil at 3.15%, Apple 2.85, Microsoft 2.84. Sounds like three of the companies right out of the gate were in that our Monday video where we just showed the 10 largest market cap. JP Morgan, another one, 2.82%, Chevron 2.76, J&J, our favorite 2.6, Broadcom, AbbVie, Home Depot, and then Procter & Gamble are each in the mid twos and low twos to round it out. That makes 26.52% for their top 10 holdings.
Yeah, which is funny because it's not like Exxon, Apple, even J&J recently. Dividend growth hasn't been that great,
Mm-mm.
but I guess they do grow their dividends. Now, again, the top 10 only make up 26.5% because there's over 415 holdings, 417
Yeah.
stock holdings in DGRO. Whereas SCHD, they only have 104, and their top 10 is 41%. So 41% versus DGRO's 26.5%. The same names are Home Depot, boom, again, first in SCHD, but ninth in DGRO. They do
Mhm.
have BlackRock at second, Cisco at third. Chevron is fourth here, but it was fifth in DGRO.
Mhm.
Lockheed Martin, I love Lockheed.
Same here.
Bristol Myers, Verizon, Pfizer, Texas Instruments, and Amgen.
Yeah, it's an interesting mix, and that makes up 40.90% because it is just so much more concentrated. It's interesting, there is a lot of overlap, but there are some key differences in there where DGRO is different from SCHD just due to the nature of the fund, which we'll talk about here in a second. It's in the higher growth. You bring in the Apples, the Microsofts, you bring in some of the higher growth tech stocks where SCHD shifts a little bit more towards your Cisco's of the world, which have much less growth than the other ones, but at least they have Texas Instruments who's taken off this year.
So, those are the stats there on what makes them up. But Bert, what about kind of dividend growth over the last, few periods here?
Terrible. Okay, so I'm kidding. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk through their average, which would be through year-end 2023, and then we'll talk about the 2024 growth after to see if anything's changed in this current year. DGRO's 3-year average growth rate is 8.61% compared to SCHD's 9.51%. So pretty much the same. There's not much difference there. You start to see some separation in the 5-year growth. The DGRO's 5-year growth is 10.24, SCHD's 13.2. So over the longer term, SCHD has higher dividend growth. But let's look ahead here, Lanny. Let's look into 2024. Have you seen any change in the dividend growth when you compare the two quarterly and then compared to the annual?
Yeah, it looks like right now, based on the metrics, about 6.5% for DGRO and about 14% for SCHD right now from a dividend growth standpoint.
Yeah, and that's really been picked up here towards the end of the year because SCHD has absolutely crushed it here on the 2024 front, especially in Q2 and Q3 after this rebalancing. So you're seeing stronger growth in 2024. So what are we seeing here? Stronger growth from the 3-year. SCHD just has overall stronger dividend growth. I think we can leave it as a blanket statement of that when you compare it to DGRO, compared to the 3-year, the 5-year, and then the 2024. Question here, though, Lanny. We've talked about this. We've talked about the dividend growth. We see there's some separation in the yield and some dividend growth. Going into this video, I asked and I said, I want to see higher performance and higher growth if I'm going to see a lower dividend yield. Let's look into performance. How have the DGRO performed over the last few years
Yeah.
compared to SCHD?
So DGRO, obviously, it's quite interesting. They're actually up this year 17.5% this year, up 27% since last year, up 62% over the last 5 years. So definitely performing very solid. If I'm looking at their top 10, Apple's had I think a good year. Chase has had a good year. Microsoft has had a good year. Broadcom's had a great year. So you've got some big names that have had some pretty strong years in 2024. That's really carried DGRO.
Let's compare that to SCHD. Year to date, 11.78%, 52 weeks, 20.45%, 5-year, 56.55%. So DGRO's had a better 2024 in the last 52 weeks, and that's really propelled their last 5 years now to surpass SCHD a little bit. They're overall over the last 5 years performing 5% better than SCHD.
And again, when it comes to like an expense ratio standpoint, DGRO is at 8 basis points or 0.08%. SCHD is at 0.06% or 6 basis points. So DGRO is also a little bit more expensive right now from an ETF standpoint. And they have about 30 billion in assets under management within the fund, which is less than half of SCHD, 63 billion, which I'm very curious with the split if it encouraged more cash inflows into the ETF for them, the 3-for-1.
Yeah, so we'll put the metrics up here, some of these high-level metrics that we're discussing. I entered this question asking that simple question: am I going to kick SCHD to the curb in
Are
favor
you,
of
Bert? Are you
DGRO?
kicking it to the curb?
No, I am not. I'm going to keep going with SCHD. And it's not to say that DGRO is not a great fund. It has some great growth. It has strong dividend growth, but it didn't do what I said it needed to do at the beginning of this video. I was pretty clear early on in the onset. Lower yield, I better see better growth, and I better see better performance. SCHD, better dividend growth. SCHD, higher yield. The performance, DGRO is barely performing better than SCHD. Not enough for me to move away from the extra yield that I'm picking up for SCHD. Great ETF, enough for me to take down SCHD from the seat.
Yeah, real solid. Curious what the next few years will then look like. But let us know, guys. Are you buying DGRO over SCHD? Or are you guys saying, nah, DGRO isn't better than SCHD? Let us know what you guys think here. Both are solid ETFs, though, guys. So, if you just keep saving and keep investing, obviously you just can't go wrong spreading your risk, generating some income, watching that income grow.
If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, everyone. Give this video a thumbs up, and remember, you're either with us or you're against us, Jack.
That was Bert the Hurt and Lanny from the Dividend Diplomats over and out.